their own advice, they'd be successful. Right. And so with this kind of valley of despair, I call it niche slapping. It's like, don't make me niche slap you, which is like when you have three things going on, it's like, let me like slap you into just picking one. Because the thing is that any of them can work, but none of them will work unless you pick only one. Because it's actually, in my opinion, an exercise in arrogance to assume that you doing three things is somehow going to beat somebody who's doing one. And I can promise you the competitor who is going to beat you is only doing that one thing. And you think a third of your time is going to beat theirs? No, it's not going to I think it's arrogant. And so there's actually like there's like an underpinning of ego underneath of this. And I say this as somebody who did this. So like when I had the launch business, I also had my 6 gyms. I also had a chiropractor agency and I also had a dental agency. And so I would introduce myself and like, oh, I own lots of companies. But I think one of the biggest misconceptions when you're an entrepreneur is not understanding the difference between being an owner and being the CEO. And so they might hear that you have a portfolio. They might hear that I have a portfolio and be like, okay, well, they have a portfolio, so I must model that. That guy's tall. I should play basketball. Doesn't work that way, right? So if I want to be rich, I should fly private. Doesn't work that way, right? It's conflating order. And so we must do these things in order to get the outcome. We have to concentrate on only one thing in order to get the outsized return. And that spreading of attention, especially when you're newer in the entrepreneurial career, it's like you already don't know so many things. How do you now want to have 3 sets of unknowns that you want to try and conquer at the same time? And the fallacy of thinking is that I'm going to try all of them and see which one works, but none of them will work because you're waiting to see which one will work. Because you can force, in my opinion, you can force one thing to work, provided, like I'm gonna just assume basics, like you're not selling $5 bills for $4, like, the normal economics of a business. Like if a real estate business exists, there are other people who are making money. There are hair salon businesses where people are making money. There are lawn mowing businesses where people are making money. You can make money in all of them. You just can't make money in all of them.
Yeah. At the same, and it's when you walk.
What it means that you cannot make money. You need to pick your niche. You need to pick your crowd. You need to pick whatever it is you're picking so that you know what to say, know what to do, know what to act, all on that one thing. Because if you take multiple eggs in one basket, then you will never know where your life will lead you to. Which is why don't put all your eggs in one basket. And if you don't think that one niche will help you, then there's no point to continue in that niche, is what he's implying.
Today, and you sat down on the chair, I said, like, what's going on with you professionally? I remember what you said. You said more of the same and better, which clearly comes from your wisdom.
my infinite wisdom, right? Well, it's just from suffering, the woes of this. Like the biggest entrepreneurial mistakes I've made in my career have all come from splitting my attention. Every one of them. Like every single one of them. Like I talked about how I had the e-commerce business that I bolted onto my licensing company. I should not have done that. As soon as I did that, my revenue started slowing down in its growth.
Why did you?
Because I was ADD. I was like, oh my, I don't want to leave money on the table. And I want to be so violent about this. You are always going to leave money on the table. That is the result of focus. But you're leaving a small amount of money on the table to pursue the much larger money that's on another table of just sticking with the thing that you're on right now. Because compounding, if I were to show a chart here, it's like if you're at year 3 of your thing and you want to think about moving to year 0 of a new thing, you have to compare, maybe year 0 of a new thing grows faster, but it has to grow faster than year 3 to 4 of the thing that you're on right now. And I think that's people will compare year 0 to year 0, but not year 4 to year 0. And the thing is we have a linear life. And so it's an unfair but true comparison of the opportunity cost. And every exceptionally successful entrepreneur that I know has just stuck with one thing for such an inordinate amount of time. And I think there's a quote by, I want to say Shane Parrish, but he said, success is doing the obvious thing for an extraordinary period of time without believing that you're smarter than you are.
Without believing that you are smarter than what you are your own identity. You are yourself. Nobody can change that. Nobody can replace that. Nobody can do the thing that you want to do, which is why you need to continue on doing the things that you are afraid of. because we all have fear. We all are afraid. Knowing what you need to do is different than doing what you need to do. Hopefully that makes sense to y'all, because it makes sense to me.
And it's just like we know what we need to do, and so we don't need to make our lives more complex. Complexity will come with scale, I promise. And so just simply trying to do more of what you're already doing well is already hard enough. Don't add anything else. And so like if you need to write some sort of commitment of like, I'm just going to stick with this, then do that. But what happens is, when we were talking about the levels earlier, about like beating the bosses. So what happens is, you know how to beat boss 1 through 3 of the game. And so then you just say, okay, well, I'm just going to start the game over and beat boss. I mean, this time it's going to be different. But then you just get to level 3 again, and then you're stuck again. And so people just keep getting up to level 3 and new endeavors over and over again, because they never learned how to get past that boss. And so you just have to confront the uncertainty of knowing that you don't know how to do it, but that you will figure it out if you keep doing enough repetitions. And that's where you talk to it.
So what it means by the more repetitions you do, the higher frequency that you will get paid or helped with your work. Because without the high repetitions, you might never know what this life can lead you to. It can lead you to a lot of heartbreak, a lot of turmoil, but you may never know until you do the thing that you are saying that you are going to do. Make the content, make the business idea, make the school post. Do what must be done, just like Palpatine said. Do what must be done, Lord Vader. And he was like, yes, master. And if you don't do the things, that is all on you. Nobody's stopping you from doing it. People are waiting to have the progress be there.
Many people as you can. You see what they said, you consolidate it all, and you say, I think this is the highest likely path. It might not work, but I do believe fundamentally that if we cut people's hair well, and we do it for a long period of time, we will have a thriving business. And if we have a really good model from that thing, we might be able to open up another location. And if we keep our costs down, we might be able to have an actual model that we could either invest our own capital or bring somebody else and take it national. Or like all of these, like I have yet to find a business that can't get to $100 million a year, that has a permutation of it that exists. You're a dry cleaner, fine. Well, cool, we'll build the model, and either we can license the model, we can franchise the model out, we can get outside investors, we can scale it nationally, we can do it. But the crazy goals are only crazy because people have crazy timelines. They're actually very sane goals if you extend the timeline out. If you have a true 10-year goal or a true 20-year goal, almost anything's accomplishable. I mean, almost every multi-billion-dollar company is about, they get, it's usually between like years 6 and 10 when companies get to kind of like those big numbers. And most people who are listening to this are 5 years into entrepreneurship, but you're 6 months into the thing that you've been working on right now. And you keep restarting the clock for getting to year 10 every time you start over. And I think that's the part that it took me a very long time to figure out. And I think it takes a lot of entrepreneurs. Like everyone messes around with a lot of stuff in the beginning because you just don't know what you're doing. And so in my experience, it takes about 5 years for most entrepreneurs that I know to just like find something that works. It takes about 5 years to figure out which way is north. Right?
Yeah.
And then it takes like another 5 years. And a lot of people, that's it. Like they restart, they go off, crash and burn. And it takes another 5 years to build something that can create generational wealth. So it's about a 10-year slug. And here's the really hard truth about it.
Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Learning comes from the edges. There is no such thing as being brave if there's nothing on the line. Like being brave without feeling scared is not bravery. If you're the sort of person, let's say in a alternate universe, I plucked you out and I made you a soldier, but you had one change to your mental makeup, that you didn't feel fear, and you were the best super soldier ever, Delta SEAL Team 6, kicking down doors, shooting bad guys. Would you say that you're brave in that world? Well, Kind of, I suppose, like you're acting bravery. Bravery is being performed, but it's also, you would know that there's a difference in that kind of bravery versus someone who is terrified. There is no such thing as being brave if there's nothing on the line. Like, being brave without feeling scared is not bravery. If you're the sort of person, let's say in a alternate universe, I plucked you out and I made you a soldier, but you had one change to your mental makeup, that you didn't feel fear, and you were the best super soldier ever, Delta SEAL Team 6, kicking down doors, shooting bad guys. Would you say that you're brave in that world? Well, kind of, I suppose, like you're acting bravery. Bravery is being performed, but it's also, you would know that there's a difference in that kind of bravery versus someone who is terrified and does the same thing. There is no bravery without being scared, and I think that means that if there's no uncertainty and no risk and no exposure, and there's nothing on the line, you can't really be being that brave. There is no such thing as being brave if there's nothing on the line. Like,
There's no such thing as being brave if there's nothing on the line. There's nothing on the line or field of play, understanding, or economic use for growth. There's no point to be brave. Being brave requires you to believe in yourself when you had nothing. To believe in yourself when you were just the only person that was clapping in the bloody auditorium, because you are the only one that is alone, and you will always be alone. It is called being one with the mind and one with the body. If you're not one with one, you are playing a different character to a different story, to a different perspective. Which is why being brave is one of the most beneficial things to have on ourselves.
I look back, I always answer the question, what would you do different? I wish I would have taken more risk and failed more. We have this relationship with failure as like an embarrassing thing to do instead of shaking hands and going, no, failure will happen. And if it doesn't happen, you're probably not taking enough risk.
See, now, when you take enough risks, when you take enough failures onto your shell, onto your perspective, onto your bones, you can feel the failing. You can feel the failure. You can feel the fear within your bones, because you know it is true, that you only fail when you must succeed at the end of the time that you have been failing for.
Or you're not getting out of your comfort zone. So no, failure is part of the successful path. It's necessary.
Failure is part of success, because without success, the hate you get along the way. So don't bend the knee to their own conformity of their standards, of their presentation of where they think that their life is going, or where the necessary steps must be taken along the way. And whatever those steps are, knowing that this is failure. This is not rock bottom. This is just what failure feels like. For me, I'm only gaining maybe a few views a video, which doesn't mean I'm a failure. It just means that nobody watches my content, which is beautiful, which is why I make it for the viewer. I make it for you guys. I make it also for myself. Without it, I am nothing. Without this, I am nothing. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and yeah, as always, peace and be yourself.